Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. I'm your teacher Miss Nadia Rauf from Army Burnhall Girls College, Ahmedabad, and today we are starting with 26th lecture of chapter number 18, that is alcohol, phenol and ethers. In today's lecture we are going to discuss important class of organic compounds, that is ether. We have studied already about phenols and alcohols. This is another class which has got oxygen in them. Rest alcohol and phenol also had oxygen, so this one is also included in this chapter. In ethers, we are going to discuss their nomenclature. We will be discussing preparation, their physical properties and their chemical properties in detail. Let's see first of all nomenclature of ethers. As we know, ether is the class which has got oxygen in the center and they have got two alkyl groups attached to it. So it can be shown in simply in this way, where oxygen is present in the center and there can be two alkyl groups which can be either same or they can be even different. For example, we can have oxygen when it is in the center, it would be termed as ether. Some of the common names are being told to you. This would be called, there are two ethyl groups attached, they are same, so it would be called diethyl ether because alkyl groups are same. Similarly here, now alkyl groups are different. One of them is ethyl and the other one is isopropyl. So it can be called ethyl isopropyl ether. Similarly, in this one, you can see there is one methyl group, another one is simple normal propyl group. We don't need to mention N. So it would be called methyl propyl ether. These are some of the common names that are being told to you. Now let's move on towards IUPAC nomenclature of ethers. In IUPAC nomenclature, longest continuous chain of the carbon atoms is taken as a parent name. Ether needs not to be there. If ether is not there, it's okay. We can name it as a substituent. If ether is present or oxygen is present, the other chain, it is named as alkoxy substituent. Change the YL part of the other alkyl chain to oxy. For example, if it is attached with the methyl group. So methyl, you have to remove YL and you have to add oxy, so it would become methoxy. And do remember, then oxygen should be attached with the smallest number of carbon atoms, right? To name the alkoxy name, first of all, because it will be taken as a substituent, so we will have to name alkoxy first, and then we are going to name the parent chain, and then its numbering will also be shown. Number of alkoxy substituent will be indicated with the parent chain. For example, we can see this compound. Now the longest chain is the one that is 1, 2, 3 and 4 carbon atoms are attached, and shorter chain is the one which has got oxygen attached with it. So it will be taken along with oxygen. This one will be taken as a substituent. So it would be called 1-ethoxy because it was ethyl. So we are going to remove YL and we are going to add oxy. So it would be called 1-ethyl. It would be called 1-ethoxy butane. Similarly, in the other one, we can see this one will be called 1-methoxy 2-methyl propane. Because in this one we can see oxygen is attached with a smaller one carbon atom, so it would be called methoxy, and rest this compound is having 1 and 2. At 2 there is another substituent that is 2-methyl, so it would be called 2-methyl propane. Upon position 1 it is methoxy, so it would be called 1-methoxy 2-methyl propane. In this one we have given preference to the numbering has started from the point where methoxy group was present. In this compound you can see again we are going to start numbering so that it should be given the lowest number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And at position number 2 there is attached a methoxy group. In this compound where there is already a hydroxyl present, so hydroxyl will definitely be given preference. So this compound will be numbered from this side, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. At position number 4 there is a methoxy group present, and here we have got only alcoholic group, so it would be called 4-methoxy 2-butanol. This is the IUPAC nomenclature. Let's see some more examples of ethers. This ether can be simply named as there are two phenyl groups attached, so it will be called diphenyl ether. In this compound, this is another ether having a methyl group, and this is usually called a vinylic group in common name, so it can be called methyl vinyl ether. There is no other way to name it. For example, this is phenyl group and this is a isopropyl group, so it would be called isopropyl phenyl ether. Similarly, this compound will be hexane. The longest chain is hexane, which is having at position number 3 there is a methoxy group present, so it would be called 3-methoxy hexane. Now let's move on towards some physical properties of ethers. Physical properties of ethers and all of the compounds are very much dependent upon the intermolecular forces. When we talk about boiling points and melting points, they are very much depending upon the intermolecular forces that are present in the compound. When we are comparing the melting and boiling points of ethers with that of alkanes of the similar molar mass, we will see that ether will have similar boiling points. But when we compare it with that of the alcohol of similar molecular mass, we will see ethers will have much lower boiling point. For example, let's see the examples now. If we see any alkane, molar mass of 72 grams per mole, boiling point is 36. But when we see ether of almost similar molar mass, which is 74 right now, it will have boiling point of 35. Both of them have got intermolecular forces are only London dispersion forces in both of them. So that's why their boiling point is same. But when we compare it with that of alcohol, we would see the molar mass of both of them are similar, but boiling point is way too much different. Boiling point of alcohol is quite high, it is 117. The reason behind that is the hydrogen bonding which is present in alcohols and it is absent in ethers. Why hydrogen bonding is not present in the case of ethers, although they do have oxygen like alcohols, but their boiling points and their because a necessary condition for hydrogen bonding is not only the presence of oxygen or electronegative atom, there should be directly attached hydrogen for that as well. In the alcohols, we have got directly attached hydrogen, but in ethers, we don't have that hydrogen which is directly attached with the oxygen atom to make hydrogen bonding. So that's why, due to absence of hydrogen bonding in ethers, their boiling points are less as compared to that of alcohol. This is an important question which can be asked in exams even. Why ethers have got lower boiling point as compared to alcohols, or why ethers and alkanes have got similar boiling points? So you can answer it. Some other physical properties are their solubility in water. They are more water soluble as compared to alkanes. Why? Because right now in alkanes we don't have any oxygen which need to make hydrogen bond with the water molecule. Right now in case of ethers, they do have oxygen which can make hydrogen bond with the hydrogens of water. So that's why they will be more soluble in case of when compared with the alkanes. Ethers and alcohols of similar molar mass will have almost same solubility in water, because right now this solubility is depending upon the oxygen atoms and interaction between the hydrogen atom of the neighboring or the water molecule. Some important chemical properties are they are highly inflammable. Boiling point of diethyl ether is 35, so it is highly inflammable. A little bit of room temperature is increased and they can be ignited in that case. So ether vapors will ignite readily. Ethers will react with oxygen to form hydroperoxides and peroxides, which are very unstable compound and even they can explode. We can see there this is called hydroperoxide and this is a simple peroxide. Hydroperoxide is the one which is having hydrogen, and then there is a peroxide. Peroxide means there are two oxygen and alkyl group. This is simple peroxide having two alkyl groups, and in the center there are two oxygens which are attached. Otherwise, ethers will react similar to alkanes in the combustion and halogenation reaction, but their reactivity towards oxygen is very much high. Now let's see some important methods for the preparation of ethers. The first and the most important method for the preparation is Williamson synthesis. It is also called Williamson ether synthesis. In this method, usually alkoxide ion is treated with alkyl halides and they produce ethers, and halide will be the leaving group. From where does this alkoxide comes from? This alkoxide ion is coming from methanol or alcohol. When they are being treated with sodium metal, they produce sodium methoxide right now, or they are going to produce sodium alkoxide in other case. Now this sodium alkoxide is going to react with alkyl halide. This sodium is going to pick up bromine and it will be the leaving group, and it is going to make sodium bromide, and this alkyl group will be attached with the oxygen making ether. Similar example can be shown here in case of phenols. When phenols are treated with sodium hydroxide, right? Alcohols were treated with sodium and phenols are treated with sodium hydroxide. They are going to produce sodium phenoxide. You are familiar with the reaction. You have studied about it in the portion of phenols. Now they are being treated with alkyl halide, that is methyl iodide right now. Sodium is going to pick up iodine and methyl group will be attached over here with the oxygen, producing methyl phenyl ether, which is also called anisole. So this is the method by which we can prepare either symmetrical ethers or unsymmetrical ethers. Symmetrical ethers are those which have got same groups on the two sides of the functional group, that is oxygen, and unsymmetrical are those which have got different groups. So this method can produce either symmetrical alkenes or unsymmetrical alkenes as well. Second method for preparation of ethers is by using silver oxide, that is Ag2O, and treating it with alkyl halide. And do remember, dry conditions are utilized in this case. Alkyl halides, 2 molecules are usually taken and they are treated with dry silver oxide. The silver is going to pick up both of the bromines and alkyl groups will be jointed together through oxygen atom, making ethoxyethane. You can call it ethoxyethane or diethyl ether as well, releasing 2 molecules of silver iodide or silver bromide. Right now in this case, silver bromide will be produced. Third method for preparation of ethers is by dehydration of alcohols. We have studied about this already in the reactions of alcohols, in which alcohols 2 molecules can be dehydrated in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid and 140 degrees centigrade. Excess of ethanol is utilized. 2 molecules are taken. One of the molecule is going to release hydrogen, another molecule is going to release hydroxyl. Water molecule will be released. This is a condensation reaction, and 2 molecules of alkyl groups will join together through oxygen atom in the center. They are going to produce diethyl ether. Do remember, if concentrated sulfuric acid is taken and temperature is heated above 140 at about 180 degrees centigrade, condensation would not occur, and in that case alkenes would start producing. So if you want to produce ether, you will have to use this reaction condition. It should not be heated above this temperature, and concentrated sulfuric acid should be utilized with excess of ethanol. A lot of amount of ethanol should be taken in this process. Now let's discuss reactivity of ethers. Ethers are generally quite stable chemical compounds and they won't react too much. They are not reacting even with the bases, with active metals, with dilute acids, with oxidizing agents, or with any reducing agents. They won't react with that. They are of low chemical reactivity, but still they are much more reactive as compared to alkanes. The reason behind that is they have got oxygen present in them, which has got lone pair of electrons. Due to presence of these lone pairs of electrons, there are 2 regions that are formed within this molecule. These 2 carbon atoms, we can say there is lesser electronic density on the carbon atoms and there is more electronic density on the oxygen atom. So this red area is shown, which is showing the more electron density, and this whole below blue area which is shown below, this is showing the lesser electron density. So oxygen, which is present at the apex, this is going to react with many electrophilic species that will come and that can attach over here, which are in search of electrons, so they can attach over here. So whenever they are reacting, usually they are making oxonium ions. They are making bonds with the oxygen atom. Now let's see reaction of ethers with HBr. There are very limited reactions available. They will either react with hydrogen bromide or hydrogen iodide only. Diethyl ether can react with hydrogen bromide. As I have told you, oxygen electron rich species is going to attach hydrogen with itself due to lone pairs of electrons, and this bromide ion, it is going to attach itself from the other side. When hydrogen is attached with the oxygen, it will be converted into protonated ether. This is a protonated ether which is got hydrogen attached with the oxygen atom having positive charge. And now this carbon atom will be attacked by the bromide ion. Now this bond will be broken up and one of the molecule will be converted to ethanol and another molecule will be converted to ethyl bromide. Bromine has been attached with this carbon atom. This whole molecule is going to be ethyl bromide and this whole molecule is going to be an alcohol. In the similar way, they are going to react with hydrogen iodide as well. In case of hydrogen iodide, again oxygen is attacking this hydrogen, attaching itself over here, converting this oxygen into oxonium ion, and iodide ion is later on going to attack the neighboring carbon atom. We can see it over here. This oxonium ion is being attacked by the iodide ion, and a transition state is being produced in which now one of the bond will have to be broken up. So if this bond is broken up, one of the molecule will be converted into methanol and another molecule will be converted into methyl iodide. These are the only two reactions which are available for the ethers, and these are the only. I have told you already that other reaction, that is oxidation, reduction and reaction with bases or acids, they are not possible for them. So these two reactions are only the ones which are feasible for ethers. There is a quick quiz given at the end of this portion. There are only 3 questions in them. You can see in your books. How is diethyl ether prepared in the laboratory? You have already discussed this one. This is diethyl ether, preparation of diethyl ether in the lab. It can be done by condensation of alcohols in the presence of sulfuric acid at about 140 degrees centigrade. What is meant by symmetrical and unsymmetrical ethers? Symmetrical ethers are those which have got identical alkyl groups, and the ones which have got different alkyl groups can be called unsymmetrical ethers. What is Williamson synthesis? We have just discussed it. Williamson synthesis is preparation of ethers by alkyl halides and sodium alkoxide. They can be treated together to make ethers, and sodium halide is the leaving group. For example, methyl iodide can be treated with sodium ethoxide, and methyl ether can be produced in the presence of sodium iodide. That's all for today, girls. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Allah Hafiz.